and welcome to Prudent Media. My name is Sachin Chatte and on this program we take a look at the latest releases. Today we will take a look at the comedy Madgaon Express and the other release of the week, Savarkar. First, let's take a look at Swatantra Veer Savarkar. It can be safely said that Damodar Veer Savarkar is a figure on whom almost everyone has a broad stroke opinion, but not many know the details, including those who admire him and those who find him to be a controversial figure. In parts of India, particularly in Maharashtra, his portrait adorns the walls of houses, in many cases alongside Gandhiji and Subhash Chandra Bose. He is known not just as a freedom fighter, but as an author, poet and social reformer. The common link between those leaders is of course the fact that they fought for India's freedom with different ideologies and methods. In fact, among all prominent leaders who survived the British Raj, few spent as long a period in jail at a stretch as Savarkar, who was lodged in the infamous cellular jail at Port Blair for a decade from 1911 to 1921 from the age of 28 onwards. The film directed by Randeep Hooda is a mixed bag. To start with, Randeep the actor does a terrific job of playing the lead role. As a director, it is a decent effort, but it comes with some baggage. The seeds of freedom struggle and the fight against British colonialism were sown early in Savarkar's life. He went to England on a scholarship and by the age of 25, he had written a book on the 1857 uprising. Savarkar was among the first to call it, rightly, a war of independence, which took a few years before it could be published. Savarkar believed that the only way India could achieve freedom was with a call to arms, which included direct attack on the British. He also believed in Akhanda Bharat, which is one nation, given that at that time, British ruled India stretched from parts of Afghanistan to what is now Bangladesh and beyond. After some exploits in England and France, where he jumped off a ship and swam to the shores of France while he was under arrest, the film cuts to his time at Andamans, which was known as Kala Pani back then. That's the place where hardcore criminals and some political prisoners were sent as a punishment. Before this, we also see an encounter between him and Mahatma Gandhi. While Gandhiji is shown as someone who admired Savarkar but didn't agree with his ideology, Gandhiji's character is portrayed with questionable intent. Rather, the intention is clear to show Gandhiji in poor light, as someone who was a cause for hindrance in India's quest for freedom rather than someone who fought for it. This approach taken by the filmmaker doesn't go down very well. It is one thing to highlight Savarkar's life and ideology, but it is another to put down someone like Mahatma Gandhi. The film didn't have to resort to the latter. There is a line in the film where Savarkar says that it is not that he dislikes Gandhi, he dislikes Gandhiji's idea of non-violence. There are other real-life characters in the film as well, including Jinnah and Ambedkar, where Baba Saheb was opposed to the idea of India participating in the Khilafat movement. In England, we also see a hush-hush meeting between Savarkar and Lenin, that's Vladimir Lenin, in a library where they exchange thoughts on revolutions and bombs. After dwelling on Savarkar's travails in the Andaman prison, the film highlights other incidents of his life where he opposed casteism and helped build the Patit Pawan Mandir in Ratnagiri, where people from all castes were allowed to enter. That Savarkar was tried and acquitted in Gandhi's assassination case is a well-known fact. What we see in the film is Savarkar saying, "Use aisa nahi karna chahiye tha," referring to Nathuram Godse. The film doesn't shy away from showing Savarkar as who he was. As Jinnah says in the film, he admires Savarkar because he doesn't hesitate to call himself a Hindu. What doesn't work in favor of the film is the length, which clocks almost 3 hours. The Andaman episode stretches a bit, leaving little or nothing to imagination in terms of the suffering in the prison. While the torture in Andamans is simply shown as Muslim jail guards beating up Hindus, there were more nuances to it which are ignored. Yamuna, played by Ankita Lokhande, is Savarkar's wife who has little or no role to play in the film, while his brother Ganesh Savarkar, played by Amit Sial, was a strong force behind him. Randeep Hooda shines throughout the film, whether it is a physical transformation as an actor with his ribs showing while in prison or giving those fiery speeches. Clearly, the actor has given it all he has got. Like Savarkar himself, the biopic is far from flawless, but at least you learn more about the man than you had previously known. I'm going to go with 2.5 out of 5 stars for Randeep Hooda's Swatantra Veer Savarkar. And now let's take a look at Madgaon Express. Kunal Khemu's directorial debut has its heart in the right place, but the script is too far-fetched and at times even juvenile to be a fun ride. Friends, gangsters, cops, drugs, and a stash of money. You can kind of connect the dots with those few words and conjure a screenplay. And no, this is not a Delhi Belly kind of fun film with zany situations. This is a very poor man's Delhi Belly, if at all. Madgaon Express would have been more fun if it was crisp and to the point. Instead, it is the kind of film that gives you a recap post-interval just in case you have forgotten what happened in the first half. The story revolves around three kids from Mumbai whose ultimate dream is to go to Goa. That doesn't quite happen even when they are young adults, but when they grow up, a chance comes their way. There's Dhanush, who's popularly known as Dodo, played by Divyendu, who is still struggling for a full-time job, but his fake pictures on Facebook suggest that he is quite an achiever. Then there is Pratik, who's known as Pinku, played by Pratik Gandhi, who has got himself a job in South Africa, and the third of the trio is Ayush, played by Avinash Tiwari, who is in New York. Now both these foreigners, they come to meet Dodo in Mumbai, and Dodo can't reveal to his friends that he is a good-for-nothing. To conceal the truth, instead of taking them home, he takes them to the railway station where Madgaon Express awaits them to go to Goa. After all, it has been their childhood dream to make a trip to Goa for the booze, sun, sand and water sports. This is the first and last of the far-fetched situations in the film. At Lokmanya Terminus station, Pinku's duffel bag gets exchanged, and by the time they discover that this bag has wads of notes, a hotel room key and a gun, it is too late. Now, even someone with a single-digit IQ will keep the money, dispose the gun and stay away from that hotel. But this is a comedy film, and a silly one at that, where shrieking and yelling is the order of the day, not to mention silly actions by the characters. Knowing very well that it could be trouble, the three of them go to the said hotel room only to find the bed stuffed with top quality cocaine. Upendra Limaye plays a gangster named Mendonça who is after the drugs, and there is an all-women rival gang led by Kanchan Komdi, wonderfully played by Chaya Kadam. Frankly, they are the best part of the film because our main protagonists are a bit thick in their head. Nora Fateh shows up as the glamour quotient, as someone who supplies drugs at parties. There are cops also who are involved in search of the gangsters and the drugs. The editing just lets the scene run like there is no tomorrow. At times, it was as irritating as a golf ball stuck in the throat. At one point, Dodo and Pinku also dress up as women in saris, and there is also a mention about adjusting the oranges, and you thought that such infantile jokes were passé by now. Brevity is the soul of wit and also the comic situations, but the screenplay here chucks that golden rule out of the window. There is the odd funny line like the gangster says, "Tumhari aankh lag gayi thi? Main yahan gang chala raha hu ya government office?" or words to that effect. The performances are commendable with some impressive comic timing from the actors, but I wish they would make a film on the Kanchan Komdi gang instead. The ladies, impeccably dressed in their saris and aviators, are an absolute hoot, unlike this trio of friends. I'm going to go with 2 out of 5 stars for Madgaon Express. Well, that's what I thought of the films that were released this week. Do let us know what you think, and I'll be back with you next week with more movie reviews. Till then, it's goodbye from me.